me tell you the story of the forever incomplete name. There was this, oddly enough, today is all about architects. There's this famous, I think he is Italian or Spanish, Anthony Gaudi, an architect, Anthony Gaudi, and he's a pretty decent, like he was a pretty decent architect. He was born a long time ago. He was Spanish. He wasn't Italian. He is a very big architect, and he designed a bunch of awesome stuff. But the most famous work that is like that he's associated with. If I can find it. Is this one. I have no idea how to pronounce this. The Basilica de la Sagrada Familia, or I assume it's the Holy Family, Sacred Family, yeah. And this is a big thing. This is a very interesting thing. This dude is like super awesome in terms of architecture and everything, but he was never able to finish this basilica. And I think that the basilica is going to be finished in a few years. This dude died, I think, 300 years ago, and his magnum opus, his biggest thing, was never finished in his life. This thing will for him, this project will remain forever incomplete, and this was very inspiring for me to come up with this. It's a fun thing, but yeah. Anyway, this is the book has 3 parts. It has a prologue called Before I Forget. It has a bunch of poems. Then it has an interlude, which is called While We're Still Here. And also it has, again, a bunch of poems. And then the epilogue, which is When the Music Ends. I'm kind of really proud of how these literary texts have came into existence. So if it's okay with you, I will be reading a little bit on like reading it aloud, because they say in music industry, if you're writing a dance song, if you're unable to dance with your own song, then nobody else will. The same is for any kind of art, honestly. When you're creating something, you need to be proud of your creation, and I feel like I'm gonna be proud of this one. But again, pride is a folly. We'll see. The title of this intro, of this prologue, is called Before I Forget. The first paragraph reads as follows: We are all adjectives, the words that bring meaning and depth to the mental pictures others tend to perceive from us. Honest, mischievous, angry, punctual. These are words, and they won't mean anything until and unless they're pertained and dependent. Glued to a person, they find themselves a raison d'être, or a raison d'être. See? I could have used a different word. I could have used a reason to live and a purpose. This is called being an adjective. And the adjective in this specific case is pretentious. Through these past years of my artistic life, I've had different adjectives attached to me. All kinds of positive and negative syllables, up to a point that even I started believing them, up to a point that I started seeing a different me in the same mirror I put up on my wall. Then I realized all of this is unreal, and unreal is completely pretentious. I wrote this when I had a mirror actually on my wall. I don't have a mirror here anymore. Kind of sad. This was for the old house. Still, all of the words, they have been feeding my name. Of all of them, there is always one that I like hearing more. And that was, no surprises here, storyteller. I like to look at myself as one. I like telling stories. I am telling stories. The medium is irrelevant. The medium could even be silence. I've often heard the most entangling and enchanting stories through utter silence. But I digress. I realized I like to create. I like to make stuff up. I even like to lie if it's filled with truth, especially if it's filled with truth. The best kinds of lies are the best kinds of truths. So I started making stuff up. When I saw an autumn leaf dangling in the air trying to break the fall by following the dazing beauty of a November's rain, when I saw a face that brought back a simplistic childlike faith, when I sat on a park bench just looking at the sunset through the reflections of a glass cave of tall buildings, when a whisper brought news of novelty, a murmur hummed a sweet melody, or a sparkle shone an improbable symmetry. I made stuff up. I never put them in a notebook. Notebook is the best place for our worst ideas. Our best ideas grow inside us like a virus. Probably not the best wording here. I have written a lot, but I have not written a lot. Well, enough. This is just a beginning, or is it an ending? I was never good with these things. I have a tendency to shut my thinking down when speaking. I never learned to think before I speak, for I found often speaking to is pretentious. Is my identity tied to a name, an age, a gender, or a state? Or is it tied to my sense of apprehension and to my sense of belonging? An apprehension of what goes on around me and a belonging with what they all represent. Through all this, I realized the perfect medium for me and for my now me is in written words. By invoking a certain souvenir of past or instilling an unattainable faith, we are simply one with our identities. Only then we have reached a paramount, a justice, a meaning of life. Only then we realize that we too are pretentious.